Okay, so listen up. Life has been lifing, so I'm pretty late with this second part of compassion in the forgiveness process. Okay, I know that I said understanding is hard, but compassion is just equally as hard as well in the forgiveness process when someone has offended you. It is super, super, super hard, especially when we got to understanding. Like, I really understand what this person is going through and dealing with. But here's the thing, we don't care. We can care less. Especially when they've hurt us, they stepped on our toes. Nah, I mean, I get it, but yeah, I don't care. Especially also when they're unapologetic about it. Like, how dare they offend me and then don't apologize? But here's what I'm going to say in the space of compassion in the forgiveness process. The reason we find it hard to have compassion for people who've offended us is because we don't have compassion for ourselves. It's difficult when we are constantly hard on ourselves. It's difficult when we're our own worst critic. It's difficult when we're thinking about everything that we're doing wrong instead of what we're doing right, and we don't give compassion to ourselves. So it's hard to offer compassion or empathy or sympathy for someone else when we don't even know how to give it to ourselves. That's number one. Secondly, a lack of compassion in the process of forgiveness comes from insecurity. You lack the confidence that you can get what you need, so you feel you have to fight for what you need. And that becomes an internal struggle that goes on and on and on until sometimes you offend yourself, but also you just have to fight to be right. So for example, I have a client that is working through forgiveness for her father. That is something I know a lot about. And he had said some pretty harsh things to her, including, "I regret the day your mama had you." Now, this is her father now. Now, it's important to point out that she is still in communication with some of his family members. And so when their family functions and she knows he's going to be there, she does one or two things. She doesn't show up, or she leaves before he gets there. And of course, she has blocked him on everything with block capability. To most people, she's doing the right thing. But I asked her a question, and I'm going to pose the same one to you if you're struggling with compassion. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be healed? Because avoidance is staying away or preventing something from happening. And it takes internal energy to stay away and prevent something from happening. And it does not necessarily mean that you're dealing with the emotions of the offense. Avoidance is sometimes the need to be right. However, if she practiced some compassion and letting her heart break for a man who is broken enough to utter madness out of his mouth and mistreat her, she could let go of his offenses. And that compassion will lead her to understand his harmful words and his harmful ways are not about her, but it's about his own inner turmoil, his mental struggle, and his own offenses in his life that have gone unchecked and unhealed. Now, I know what you're saying. She went no contact. There's nothing wrong with no contact. There is something wrong with no contact. If one, he doesn't know he's no contact. And two, if he sees her out, all he has to do is say hi, and her offense sets her off into unpredictable behavior. And no contact means nothing if you're not working through forgiveness. You don't have to reconcile, but you're going to have to forgive. Compassion is needed, people, in this process of forgiveness. First for yourself, then and only then can you give it to the person that offended you. But compassion is also needed to gain control of the emotions behind the offense. Otherwise, you're holding on to unpredictable behavior. Yeah. If something I said to you resonated with you in your heart, put a heart in the comment. And remember, the only way you can connect with yourself is to connect with the God in you, because I know he's speaking. The question is, are you listening and responding accordingly? Until next time.